So welcome to another video. I'm going to show you my DIY weed brush that I've created. The sort of thing I was after was this. It's hydraulically powered. It's the same unit as you see on a road sweeper. It's called a gully brush or a gutter brush. This is run by about a 3 horsepower engine running hydraulics. They look pretty decent and seem to do a good job, but they're about £2,500 to buy and about £200 to rent. Then I happened to see a video with something called a concrete powerfloat, and that looked like it was running at the right speed. So the old thinking cap came on, went onto eBay, and I won this, which is a Whiteman 36-inch powerfloat. It was sold as a non-runner, but basically the carburetor was just blocked up. Didn't take long to fix that. So I got it in the garage, do a little bit of playing around with it, try and learn about it, see whether it would do what I'd want. Never really played with one before, but it's got a clutch on it. I wanted to know how fast it ran. I did a little bit of research before I bought it, but I've got a proper infrared tachograph recorder. From what I found, it was about 100 RPM. I was also getting the speed of the engine, which I can't remember the figure now, looking on it, about 3,000 RPM. And this was about 2,600, but it wasn't really relevant really. The main bit I was looking for was the speed of the actual floats, the paddles going round. But 100 RPM was about the right speed from what I could work out. So I duly started stripping it down into its constituent parts. Those are the floats, don't need those. I got myself a 400mm gully brush and thought, yeah, this will work. Mocked it up a bit of toolboxes and things. Fired up Visio for a frame. Welded together a very, very simple frame, really nothing to it at all. Just wanted to see whether it would work. I didn't bother with the clutch. Here you can see where I've just cobbled it together. It's just about hanging together. I just mainly using G-clamps to hold it together. I wanted to see whether it was powerful enough, fast enough. What I've noticed is the best results from this is to keep the block paving wet. If you have it dry, it tends to scratch it and doesn't really do a nice job. But this really was just lashed together just to see whether it'd work or not. But I actually, in its current state, you don't see, I actually went and done the whole of the back of the house, which is about the size of the front of the house, which took me several days and several thousand litres of water, whereas this literally took me half an hour. So I was really pleased with it. And at the end of the day, it's not ripping the weeds out, it's just sort of taking the tops off, but it does an acceptable job, and I'm pleased with pleased with how it works. So it was starting to go rusty because it was all bare metal, so I give it a nice paint using the same blue that I use on my car. Little time lapse here. Just cobble it all back together again. Got some nice little plastic bungs. I should have painted the bit of wood that goes between the actual gearbox and the brush, but I forgot to do it, so whatever. Getting a bit too old for standing around now, so I've got that little thing, little chair to sit on. Drop the engine on. The engine's on slots. I slotted the brackets for it so I can adjust the tension of the belt. Got some hand grips on it off one of the old bikes in the shed. I had to cut some bolts down. The bolts were too long, so I cut those down. I actually cut my finger on those actually. Let's go and put a plaster on and then come back and carry on. So stick some petrolette. The weights at the back there are to counterbalance it, so effectively sets the downward pressure on the brush. And so there's no clutch on it, so you have to start it up, and once it's started, it's going. It could ideally do with a clutch on it, but I couldn't be bothered to do it if I'm honest. This is something I'll probably use once a year if you're lucky. I just couldn't be bothered to waste my time creating a clutch for it, but it could do with something. But I think the way that the clutch worked before, where it was just loosening the belt, I think with the length of the belt now it wouldn't have worked. It would have, I think the belt would have kept jumping off. Obviously there's a bit of health and safety you could do with a some sort of cage around it, but then again it's just for my benefit, nobody else's. But I'm really pleased with it. It's come out just how I wanted it. Cost me a fraction of buying a new one for $2,500 and didn't cost me much more than just renting it for a weekend. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.